Hi, welcome back to another show. My name is Jeetu Jason, and you're watching Impact India. What can you do if you're truly unlucky in life? And I mean truly objectively unlucky, like if you have some kind of a terminal illness or you're handicapped or you think that God has decided to fuck with you forever. What can you do if you think you're Sisyphus? Sisyphus is a Greek mythological character who was condemned to roll a boulder up a hill only for it to roll back down and for him to continue his fruitless endeavor indefinitely. If you think you are Sisyphus of your story, then what can you do? You still have two options. Option one is you can either do this or live your miserable life non consensually, or you can live it consensually. You can either choose to say, why me? Why is my life like this? Yada, 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 things like that. And you can live like that. And there's nothing wrong with it. If that works for you, go for it. You don't need to watch this video. But if you want to change that, if you want a different approach to this problem, your life, then you can do this consensually. You can either roll the boulder up the hill non-consensually while complaining, why did God punish me like this? Or you can say, this is my life. Do it consensually. This isn't going to fix your problem. You're not going to stop rolling the boulder anytime soon. Your life is shit and will be shit. But there are two options now. Option A, you can do it unwillingly, and if that works for you, great. Don't need to listen to me. But if that isn't working for you, then you can consent it. If God Almighty has decided to fuck you over, you still have two options. Either embrace it or do it unwillingly. Anyway, you're going to live this life. Anyway, your life is unlucky. Anyway, you are going to roll the boulder up the hill. Anyway, whatever you're going to do is not going to work. So you can either live this futile, fruitless life willingly or unwillingly. That is the only choice you have now. And either way is fine. If you want to cry and whine about it, that's fine. That is perfectly fine. I'm not judging it. Okay? If that works for you, if that brings you some kind of a solace. Yes, bitching and crying does bring some kind of a satisfaction. If it works for you, great. But if that isn't working for you, if you're becoming more miserable because of that complaining, try a different approach. Try consenting it. I'm not saying this will solve your problem. In fact, it won't. I'm guaranteeing you it won't solve your problems. It just gives you a different angle of attack. Maybe you would stop feeling miserable about this. I'm not saying the pain would go away. The pain will remain. The struggle would remain. It's just that your approach would differ. You would handle it nonchalantly. That's all the difference that is going to be. And maybe that's all you need to endure this life that is fucked up. I'm not saying you're guilty of something here. I'm saying that if you are condemned by bad luck, okay, to live a fucked up life, you still have two options here. Option A, do it unwillingly. Option B, consent it. Say, this is my life. This is what I want to do. I'm condemned to roll this boulder up and for only for it to roll back down and for me to continue this endeavor fruitlessly forever. You can either do it consensually or non-consensually. That's your option. And this doesn't solve the problem. It's not going to fix your life. It's not going to make your problems go away. It just gives you a more, withdrawn approach to handling your miserable life. You just become about your life rather than complaining about it, which is also fine. I've said that. I'm clear about this. If that works for some people, crying brings them some kind of a comfort. And if that works for you, great, do that. But if that isn't working for you, maybe choose this life. Maybe consent it, I know this is a very weird advice, and that is why I didn't want most people to watch this, because if you say this to someone else, they will spit in your face. This is a very toxic advice to most people on this planet. But for few people on this planet, whose life is truly fucked up, that they are willing to try any wacky idea in their, to solve their problems, they will entertain this solution. And I admit this is an unorthodox, very out of the box kind of a solution. It's not even a solution, it's just a coping mechanism. But if this works for you, it works for you. If you truly believe you're condemned to be Sisyphus, you still have two options. Either you can roll the boulder up non-consensually, unwillingly, complaining all the way, why is my life like this? And if that brings you some kind of a satisfaction, I'm not judging it, it's fine. But if that isn't working for you, roll the boulder up willingly. Say, this is my life. I'm going to do, someone has to do this. Someone has to live this life. I'm going to do this. That is the second approach. This isn't going to solve your problems. It just gives you a more nonchalant angle of attack for your life. That's it. That's the only difference that this is going to bring. You would stop being a miserable fuck about your actually objectively miserable life. That's the only difference. Anyway, that's all I want to say on this topic. If you want more information about this, if you want more of my thoughts on this, let me know in the comment section or DM me and I will make a follow-up video on this. That's it for today. I will see you in the next one. Until next time, bye.